So good morning, everybody. Oh, look, people. There's actually people here. Isn't that exciting?
There, but hi.
Hello. It's Nina Duncan from Angels on Stages is on the phone, or on the Zoom, but her voice is not pretty. So Nina, save it for Angels on Stages tomorrow. Okay. And then Delina Ruiz Hughes, you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Delina.
She's our first 5 representative, and we're excited that you're here. So thank you very much. And we actually are ready to go. I can't believe we have all those people. December 7th. So thank you and welcome for coming. Welcome for coming. Thank you for coming and welcome.
I know what you mean.
Yes, I think I do. So I'm going to move this to the corner. And we actually have this here. You have it in person. And we always have to talk about safety before we get started. If we have an emergency, please follow us out. Did everyone sign in? Because we'll take our clipboard and check you off to make sure you're okay. Oh, and stay with us.
That's something new. Thank you.
Well,
Taking care of us.
we want to take care of you. So that's good. So don't leave until we've reported our attendance. We all know what the Santa Clara County Office of Ed does. Okay, I'd just like to offer it up on the slide. Thank you, Matt, for saying yes, you do. I do. You do. And then we're all about welcoming and belonging. So, good morning, everybody. Do you feel like you are welcomed?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What helped you feel welcomed? Coffee was good. Thank you.
That's what my hands are doing.
Everyone snuggled around their coffees.
Your morning greeter.
There's coffee.
Julie.
Your
Your
bright,
bright,
shiny
shiny
face.
face.
Oh.
Most of the time.
Okay, well, we really want to make sure people do feel like they are welcome, because you are welcome, you belong to a group. The data shows that your brain is engaged and you are learning something. So thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it. And so let's go around the room and talk about, well, share who you are, and then why do you keep coming to these meetings? That's what I want to know. So I'm Kathy Wall. I am the director of the Inclusion Collaborative with Santa Clara County Office of Ed. And I come to these meetings because I have to. But it's actually very cool to get some advice and support from our advisors. So we really appreciate you being here. And then I'm going to segue into an introduction to a new advisory board member, Mary Ann. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm not new.
Well, you're new for our advisory
For the
board.
advisory group, yes. I'm a retired director from here, Santa Clara County Office of Ed. So I'm the lucky person that was able to initiate the Parent Engagement Initiative 6 years ago, and well, actually it was 8 years ago, because it started the minute I was hired. So I was here 6 years. Oh my goodness, it's 10 years now. I've been away for 4, so.
Wow.
But I've never stopped the relationship, because when I retired, we started a blog called the Generational Parenting Blog, which is culturally diverse, and it continues the work of what we've done. So all of the people that have taken pieces of my job are all part of the blog writers. So we've written books, and we continue to do trainings for free to community agencies on parent engagement, special ed, all those wonderful topics. And we did 20-something this year. And Jamie, who actually now is part of the Inclusion Collaborative, has moved over here, so that's how I ended up over here instead of over in Ed Services. So I'm kind of following.
And we have more updates as of yesterday at 4 o'clock about parent engagement.
Wow,
So
and I just talked to Jamie the day. I mean, we all
I
work
know.
very closely together. You don't see me, but I'm definitely very involved. So
we
What's your
appreciate
name,
it.
Mary?
you know me. Yes,
Mary Ann
you trained me in the computers. Mary Ann Burke.
Oh my
State and
gosh.
federal compliance. See, I'm looking younger with
You are.
Retirement hopefully
This
does
is what
that.
they say retirement does. You can, exercise a little more. My hair's not here.
Our pilot tester. Okay. So thank you very much for being part of this, and we're delighted to be partnering with Parent Engagement, because that links us over to humanities and multilingual services and all that stuff.
Also, because this will have real relevance for all of you. So also, I'm a SCORE trainer. If anyone knows what SCORE is. SCORE is the nonprofit agency that trains all the startup nonprofits or existing nonprofits. And I am the trainer for that component, and we just partnered with San Jose State University to do continuing in certificate program. So I'm over that too for them. So I do a few things.
Score.
Yeah.
We scored. Okay,
Exactly.
good.
So I can help you with grants, or if any of you want to work on things for the collaborative, I have a whole training series with them. And so yeah, they're using me well.
We're delighted to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
We are our private funder, Charmaine Warmenhoven, was going to be here until about 20 minutes ago. I think she's got a cold and she needs to save up for tomorrow and all the holiday events with all their family. So I told her to zoom in if she wants to, and we'll obviously edit the recording before we send it to her. So at any rate, I want to just acknowledge Charmaine. Sung, you want to go ahead since you are over there?
Hi everyone, I'm Sung Park. I'm an inclusion training specialist with the Inclusion Collaborative, and I support the Inclusion Collaborative because we are really trying to see what really can support and enhance all the good work that everyone's doing out there, and we all need it.
We all need it. I like that. Thank you. Matt?
Hi, I'm Matt Kinsley. I'm Director of the Strong Start Initiative here in the Superintendent's Office at the County Office of Education. I am on the advisory board as a parent representative. Why do I? Because segregated education is wrong.
Woo! Let's hear that.
Can't argue with that.
Because California sucks.
Wait, is that recorded? Okay.
Which is why I introduced myself as a parent rep.
Right.
I also work here at the County Office of Education, but I took that hat off, and now I can be uncensored.
There you go. I like it. Thank you for being here.
I am Kim Bavaria, manager of the Inclusion Collaborative, and I believe in connecting resources to parents and teachers because there's so many out there that we don't know about. So how do we get the word out?
I'm Jennifer Kecker. I'm the special director for the Office. I'm also a client. And I'm here because I believe that it's amazing to have a resource like this to help us who are on the ground trying to make changes, who don't have the infrastructure or systems to be able to access. So,
Well, we love it.
Anna Maria Lobos. I am the Director of Special Education Projects, currently doing out of the Superintendent's Office, currently doing a study on the continuum of services for students with disabilities. And the Inclusion Collaborative is on our task force, and very much interested in the landscape and context of how we serve our students within Santa Clara County and how we can build upon that to increase the capacity of districts to stop that segregation you spoke of and include students within the educational system.
Alrighty, I'm Maria Dean. I'm Executive Director for Parents Helping Parents. We serve 5,000 families who have kids with special needs. Why I support the Inclusion Collaborative is because the stronger the Inclusion Collaborative is, the less problems our families are going to have,
Yes.
and the less lawsuits our districts are going to have, and we're all going to win. So I think inclusion
And we
is
work
the ticket.
together. I
Yes.
was just I was in an LCAP meeting saying we need to make sure PHP is coming, and then you called me. It was like very eerie. I go, this is Maria calling me now. And then it was about the Boys and Girls Club. It's just amazing.
But not every month, you send someone my way, I send someone your
Yeah,
way.
we have to. Well, thank you for being here.
I am Mel Matsushima. I'm Julie's husband. And I was part of the group that helped raise the $6 million plus to build the Rotary Play Garden. It was a 10-year struggle, but thanks to the Office of Education here, they put us over the top. And 21 years ago, our granddaughter was born badly damaged. She's still alive. And we've been through a lot. But I'm here to support that kind of fundraising, etc. Last night, or 2 nights ago, we helped support an incredible construction firm which decided on their 30th anniversary to, instead of spending $30,000 on a party for their friends, decided to take the money and give it to the people in Paradise. And
Awesome.
so we raised $42,000.
Wow.
And I really, Jim Salata and his wife, Suzanne, are just exemplary people for doing that. He's the one that also supported the Christmas in the Park when Bosch went down with the $15,000 for the trees. Great family.
Wow. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
So Julie was on our board and now Mel's taking a charge. They can't get away from us. Thank you. Kathy Bays.
So I'm Kathy Bays. I agree. I moved here in 1977 from Michigan and came to a special center with kids with orthopedic impairments. And it took me a year and a half to get my kids with orthopedic impairments, middle schoolers, on a Chandler trip and to a regular middle school campus. And one of those young ladies is an attorney now. One of them was a speech therapist. These were really kids who should have been included. So I did that in a year and a half after coming here because Michigan had no special centers. And I was just like, what is this? What is happening? And I was sort of assigned to the Inclusion Collaborative Advisory Committee by Joe Finiani when it first started. And I've been part of this ever since because it's the way it should be. And it's hard. It's not easy. And all, support is what people want to do it, but they need support. So that's why I'm here. And now I'm retired. Today's my last day. I retired, then I came back. Today's my last day. I'm done, except for your advisory.
And our advisory.
And your advisory.
Okay.
But I'm not working 5 days, but 8 hours a day.
Special ed.
Congratulations. By the way, that was a great retirement party. You
I
did
know,
not-
and there's-
Let's do another one.
And there's been several people asking when my second retirement.
By the way, that DJ now works for us part-time.
Oh,
There you go.
great.
You're all hooked up.
She was great.
All right, Susan.
I'm Susan Martin, and I staff the warm line, call, email, information,
Train.
warm line.
Warm.
And why do I support this? Well, I'm also a parent rep because my son has autism, and I taught, so I know that inclusion is great, but it's hard, and it's hard for teachers, and it's hard for parents, and so that's kind of over there. I want to make sure that they have the support they need because it's really hard. And teachers are always calling me saying, "What? What do we do?"
Susan has quite a following. And now we have Yolanda who speaks Spanish, and she has a frequent following crowd. So we know that this is something really important that we need. And I have to again thank publicly Sherman Warmenhoven for funding it for 13 years just to make this happen. So thank you, Susan, for being here.
I'm Howard Joy with the Early Start Program at the San Andreas Regional Center. And why do I support the movement? Because I was there from the beginning. I don't know. Yeah, it's just, and I've been with the Regional Center now for 30 years.
Wow.
It seems like we make progress, but then situations happen that maybe weren't really there yet. So I continue, I think every day is a new day to support inclusion and special needs and community. So,
Thank you for being here.
30 years. It doesn't happen anymore.
I know, that's wrong.
So just so you know, we have a DJ on staff that could, help you have your
I actually need a DJ for my holiday party in a couple of weeks.
All right,
Well,
well,
I'll talk to you
talk
about who that person is,
Just
because
going to Hawaii December 22nd.
I need her on the 18th.
Oh, perfect. So I'll connect.
But maybe we'll have a connection after all.
I also
useful
need.
group, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we also have a
Networking.
photographer, a caterer, and a floral person on
Oh
staff.
my
So, I mean, we are full of.
I should have come to you first.
I know, we need a party.
event coordinator. So I'm Kathy Betcher, and I'm the executive director at California Young World. We're a state subsidized program in Sunnyvale, and we operate out of 3 Sunnyvale elementary school sites. We care for about 300 children. 70% of those are subsidized, and 30% of those are parents that pay full cost. And we are a fully inclusive program. We welcome anybody that we can serve. If they can get into our classroom using our ramps and such, we're happy to care for them, because the Inclusion Collaborative has trained all of my staff in the teaching pyramid. We are almost 100%.
How many this?
11 start tomorrow on a 4-session adventure. The last 11 of my staff that need to go through this. So then we will be 100%.
And we all know that social, emotional, and positive behavior support is so critical.
Unbelievable. And the reason I support the Inclusion Collaborative is because boots on the ground, I can see when children come to us that teachers say, oh, you know, they're not typical. And they're learning how to quickly identify, you know, when it's not just a behavioral or not just their first time in preschool kind of thing, that it's real issue. And we've got a great connection with Kids Connection, and they come out and help us and get the kids served, and then we see the progress. So for me, it's
You're
a
partnering with
self-fulfilling.
Sunnyvale more.
Sunnyvale School District. Yes.
So it's Fairwood, San Miguel, and
Ellis.
Ellis.
Yes,
Okay.
and Linda Malarick is now working with me because we're going to start bringing little groups of 4 or 5 kids in. And over the summer months, when kids don't really have access to services, we're going to kind of expand our San Miguel site to the child care center that they operate during the school year is closed in the summer. So they're going to give us their room that's all licensed and everything, so we can overflow there. So yes, it's great.
I see some
Collaborative things are
PSAs coming
happening.
out.
Yes.
This is awesome.
Well, and did you know that San Jose City just did an inclusion summit and job fair that Howard and I were at?
Thank you for being there.
But it was great.
How was it another event? I want to tell you about
Of
that.
course, you can be in 2 places, but it was the first time I've been outnumbered, you know, with CDI and me. And then there were all special ed agencies there, which was wonderful to see. And the teachers at San Jose City that were just graduating with their master teachers in inclusion, which is now a new inclusion certificate, they were all there looking for jobs. So it was really great to see more people coming into the field, really interested in working with kids at programs that are inclusive, that they know the language, they know the child first terminology. I mean, it's just, after how many years? Oh my gosh, it's great.
Okay.
It's great to see.
I'm glad there's some good representation.
Absolutely.
Because this was actually National School Inclusions Week. Did you guys?
Oh.
This is why I look like I'm really tired, because we've had a lot of events going on. Did you walk in and see the PowerPoint in the front?
Yes, it's very nice.
Clap for Susan.
Very
Made that happen.
Very nice.
We really appreciate it. And even just getting the word out within our employees and guests who come to Santa Clara County Office of Ed, I think is really important. We also have a link with inclusionschools.org. If you haven't been there, go there. You'll never come back. But they have a whole PR kit, how activities to run. They call it the celebration kit. I think you could use some of the activities to celebrate awareness, disability differences all year long. So we sent that out to our SPED teachers, all the SPED staff, all the Head Start staff, and Dr. Dewan sent it all out to all the superintendents in the school, in the county. So that's exciting.
What was it called?
Inclusiveschools.org.
Oh, yeah.
So part of inclusive, it's hard to say, inclusion so many times a day. Part of inclusive schools have done a nice activity to promote inclusiveness. So Kim came up with a great idea. We had a holiday event here on December 5th, which everything is going on December 5th, by the way. And we had, all millions of employees here waiting in line. So we had them complete. This was Kim's idea. Can you show that handout?
The Many Hands, One Community. So they have some over there if you guys want to take some. But it's just having them write what they'll be inclusive by doing in the hand, and we're cutting them out and making them move forward. We'll put it in our makerspace. But it's just something that they can quickly just write it down with them.
Who are these guys, Inclusive Schools? Is
They're a
there
nonprofit
nonprofit?
organization. They
Yeah.
come through, well, you can go online and find out all about them. Stetson, for some reason, comes up. It's a marketing company.
Yeah.
But, so then you can become Inclusion School certified on their mailing list and share your stories. So I have already reached out to do that. It's kind of exciting. Their packet of activities and things that you can do to celebrate the week was put together by Kids Included Together, which is a national organization, and Changing Perspectives, which is another national organization that's just starting to build curriculum for disability awareness on school sites. So they put those two together and they have this wonderful packet. So it was great. So for National School Inclusion Week, besides our PowerPoint and our lobby, we worked with our special ed director, who's brand new, Dr. Jennifer Ann. She would be on our board except her LTM meeting is right now. So I said I wanted a liaison and I got Kathy Bays. Thank goodness, no. So we're going to work together on getting someone from their department to be on this again on a regular basis. But she really says, what can we do? And she knows she's new and asked the question, what can we do to make our classrooms more welcomed on their district school site? So we put together an event. We had like 25 people say they're coming, and we had 7. And thank you, Anne Marie came. Sung was there. We had a lot of hummus, but it wasn't on my budget, which is good. And so what we did was we invited Westmont High School, and they shared and so they came. That was 2. And they came and they shared what they did to do their Special Olympics project that they did with their school, their body of school. What do they call them? School body? No. Student body. Thank you. Whew. Student body to really welcome and make those kids from the county programs feel engaged and involved. And so from that, you can see we got some good footage. This is Alex, he's a super basketball player, and he's on the front of our new annual report. But they came and they shared what they did and how they started. We had a really good dialogue about some next steps, and they've already met with their special director at Campbell Union High School District. So it's really exciting. They're planning another Special Olympics, a big district-wide one, April 18th. So we'll be putting that out and pumping it up. But we're hoping to get Branham and Prospect and Lee and Del Mar to all be included. So Mr. Becker is a special ed teacher who feels this is really important. And because he was on our website on December 5th in the evening was another inclusion event that was sponsored by Eureka Schools, charter school. So she invited people to come and then put us on the mailing on the acknowledged list. So we had to go. And so she acknowledged and talked about the Inclusion Collaborative. It was at the Martin Luther King Library. There were 14 people with a lot of kids there, which was good, and festive and fun. And went through a little bit of what do people want for inclusion, and that was a real parent-driven, but myself was there. There's 2 board members from Franklin McKinney School District that were there. One is a teacher and one is a parent, so it was great to see their different lenses. And we had some disability advocates there, and then Mr. Becker from Westmont says, yeah, I had to be here, she wanted me. So he was there and got up and shared, and we had his video and shared it. So if you haven't seen the Westmont video, it's on our website on YouTube, and it's pretty powerful, I think. So that's been our exciting week of National Inclusion Week. And I'm glad it's a week, by the way. These months are really long. And let's welcome Jean. How are you, Jean?
Hi, good, thank you.
Nice to see you.
I'm Jean Gallagher, the Alamo School District.
And why are you here? What makes you keep coming back to the Inclusion Collaborative?
Because this is just what needs to happen.
Thank you. If you ever need anything, you call Jean.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys each got a packet, and you should have an agenda right here. Are my people in the audience feeling okay about this? I'll try not to have my back too much. So I just wanted to review the agenda briefly and see if there's anything anyone else wanted to add to this. We're already behind time, but that seems to be the story of my life. we have a quick run through of data or updates on our program. And then we really want to spend a chunk of time working on our work groups. So last time we had 3 work groups that were developed. We had our data input work group, we had our sustainability work group, and we had our community outreach work group. So we have the raw notes, and then we have the typed notes, you know, because it's universal design for learning. We should all have different ways to access. And we have some new notes to add. And we would like folks to get back into those groups and think about what are some next steps that we want to do. So before we do that, I thought I'd just let you know some of the things that have been going on in the Inclusion Collaborative. And it's on your PowerPoint, so I probably won't spend the rest of the day doing it. We'll just go through it really quickly. And if people have questions, let me know. Oh, why do we have a board? Why? We need you for advice, input, and recommendations. And so we are looking to specifically this year for sustainability, community outreach, and data input from our advisory board members. And so these are your roles and responsibilities. And I believe, Marianne, did you sign your form? See, we decided, you know, when we did that, people feel, oh, I have to come more. I don't think it works. And so these are the roles and responsibilities, and I don't think I'll be time review them. But I do want you to think about that you're on this board and you're out in the community. So be an ambassador for us. And if there's something that you need materials for from us, let us know. Or if you need someone from our staff to come out, or if you think this would be a good partnership, like Maria, then let's connect each other to each other. So that's something just to think about, that we're always wearing our, I'm on the First Five Commission, so I have my First Five hat on a lot in the First Five project. And so these are some of the other things that you do, but we won't make you run away yet. We won't go through this. Okay. We wanted to just share that the inclusion website. You know, I'm really tired. It's been a long week. The inclusion website has been updated. And if you want to link into our YouTube, you can just go click on those right there. And it's very easy to get to it. Some people are like, oh, I don't know how to get to it. So I encourage you to look at it, and we've got lots of good stuff in there. We're going to do another refresh, hopefully in January, of new information that we want to put on, and our grant that's expanding. And so I'm gonna pass it over to Kim Boverio now, who's going to do just a brief overview of the conference. It was successful. It was awesome. It's exhausting. And we won an award for it. I know. Wow.
So we have some preliminary data. We're still getting some numbers in. This is a poster we took inspiration from to come up with kind of what we thought an inclusion year was. And we're kind of sticking with the theme. It was so popular that our little inclusion year will be back next year.
Did everyone get an inclusion year, by the way? If you didn't, well, you're in your work groups. If you do your work, you'll get an inclusion year. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to get some inclusion years so you take, because they are actually cool, and we have been featuring them on our website in different places.
So these are some photos that we had some great volunteers who took pictures of inclusion year at the conference. And it was great because it actually turned into, how do you experience the conference? And like, here's an opportunity where they're doing work together, becoming a champion for children. Here's a chance to take a break and have lunch. Here's networking. So I'm going to be working with Susan to create social stories about how do you come to the Inclusion Collaborative Conference.
Been a lot of places.
What do we expect? And then what do we hope that you take away from it and continue to expand with inclusion. Registration data, we had 394 registrations and 342 people attended in person. That was our registration line. It's a little dark, that picture, but it was pretty heavily impacted on Wednesday.
Busy.
These are the virtual host sites throughout the state of California. This year we were able to use geomapping to actually pinpoint where everything is. We just got a new program that we will be continuing to do these mapping features, because this seems to show the impact of what we do, whether it's a conference, whether it's training, or places that are ICP rated down the line for QRIS sites. It's showing them on our geomap.
You want to see closer? We can pass this.
But that's where, having this geomap, we are able to just have the basic information, but this is where we're going to expand upon it and really figure out
What data and information do we want on it? Do we want it to say it's like for the conference? Is it a virtual host site? Is it open to the public? Or is it just for their staff only? Sometimes they'll just hold it just for their staff. So this is kind of an opportunity where we had 30 virtual host sites, and we continue to have the 30 that we had from last year as well, with individual and host sites participating. Right now, we're still getting some sign-in sheets in. We have about 670 that viewed. We did the most amount of live streams at once. We really pushed the limit to what we could do, and now we're going to come back. So you kind of just to see how far can you expand. And when we realized that videographers are the last thing of priority to hire after teachers are filled, we understand that, you know, what are our capabilities?
We have stories, but we're going to move forward. So what, can I just say another really important visual that this map provides is in person, people will see it and realize there's like other people participating. It kind of actually makes that, you know, inclusion is like a statewide initiative. So it's kind of a cool way to show that. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I'm a little confused. So you're not going to do as much.
Not 36 streaming. It was a very big load.
Did 36 stream.
And we had 3 days, which is a very long time. Wow. So moving forward, we still have data to go through.
So this is the in-person participant data. We still need to work on how do we get the data of the virtual participants, because that's where we let the virtual host sites take care of the registration and get who they're going to get in. And as everybody knows in this remote training, how do we know who's going to show up? Usually the day before we know who's showing up, right? Especially with staff changes or whatever happens right before the school year, because our conference is every October. So with that, 46% of our in-person participants rose to be administrators this year. So we had a lot of administrators. So this is just going right in the need that we've been talking about with CA1. How do we support the administrators? And the nice thing too is we already talked to the credentialing program. How do we expand upon that in the next conference? So we're going to talk to them. How do we use the new education center that this was built and it's going to be opening? How do we feature administrative track, or how do we support that these are the people coming to our conference? When we asked them to identify what age group, most of them said that they were all ages. And then down here, we asked them to identify if they feel like they're just special education or general education, or if they feel there's no difference. They're both. It's all education. So it's interesting to see that most people identify as both. That's what they support. Another thing that we kind of thought about when things came up was with our other project with CA1, we talked about administrators or co-teaching or what credentials there are. This might be the opportunity to understand what credentials people have that are coming, because maybe there's opportunities to support them. Or what kind of permits they have, or what background do they have, or special classifications, because we don't know that data to kind of know what kind of workforce are we serving, because that can help us figure out what we need to do to serve these people better. The next slide we have is our
teachers. There are no teachers. I mean,
oh yeah, there's teachers. Sorry,
where did I miss?
Sorry, the teachers are. They didn't identify on this chart. It did pop up with teachers for some reason. I'll have to check that.
Specialists,
yeah,
others,
coordinator and specialist with 18%.
mentor, coach.
But I'm surprised the teacher one didn't pop up there.
Do you remember what percent were teachers?
It should be on there. That's why I'm kind of surprised it's not.
Well, you have to
So I'll have to go back. This is preliminary data. Don't worry, we'll come
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to it.
Well, that's a grade level though, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I know there were teachers.
there's definitely teachers. Yeah, but it might have been that it just didn't get categorized in that chart. It's preliminary data. Yeah.
Well, maybe, but maybe
Preliminary?
what's missing is teachers.
Teachers, yeah. Yeah, good point. Okay, so then YouTube channel analytics. This is letting us know the top 10 videos. It's really hard to read. But Child with Special Needs with Joshua Sparrow, our keynote on Friday, was the highest viewed. Then there was Universal Design for Learning. California State Legislative Panel, our welcome from and keynote from Brandon Gruber. And then disability awareness, do's and don'ts, and so on. So we had a very high traffic compared to what we had before. Here's a chart to show the analytics that this is 2018, we had 34,000 watch minutes during the conference, where in 2017, we only had 17,000.
Wow.
So we did have 20 streams last year, 36 this year. So of course, the numbers would increase, but it's still something new data that we've never had before. We still have opportunities with the virtual component to figure out how to better serve these sites because of how much we're trying to push this out to make a conference at these sites. So
we look forward to having planning committees to kind of boost up the virtual opportunities. These are some pictures from our in-person sessions, as well as Riverside County SELPA. They had their inclusioners, so we wanted to show that they were participating as well. We did some recognitions for our partners. We couldn't have done without these 6 partners the last 5 years. These 2 virtual host sites, Sacramento and Orange County, have had about 100 people each year. So those are really big partners. They've always wanted us to do a South conference. Los Angeles County office wants to partner on how do we provide and collaborate when they do their conference in March. So it just kind of seems like an opportunity of how do we partner with county offices for the virtual component, or together is an opportunity. The County Office of Education also received one, so it should be in the award case downstairs.
You can go find it, I guess.
2018 sponsors.
There's our golden bell.
Thank you, Strong Start, for sponsoring our breakfast.
Thank you.
And then the Inclusive Collaborative sponsored the networking event down at the Doubletree. We had Angels on Stage perform, so thank you again for having them come out.
Thank you, Nina. Woohoo!
And then we had Lakeshore sponsor coffee breaks during our exhibitors, and we had also some sponsors sponsor our speakers. We also did a big exhibitor hall for the first time. It was a great challenge because we had a board meeting. We had to flip the room and get 24 tables. Luckily, Kathy Balls really came in at 6 in the morning and got it all ready for us. So again, these are all of our exhibitors. We have great social media, and now we have embedding capabilities, so it's even better and pretty looking. So we'll get our way down into the report that will be done by the end of the year. We had a graphic recording artist come in, and it's a different way of capturing a session, and we feel like this is something we can try to build upon. We have several pictures from 6 sessions, and he really captured what happened during a session on one side and the other side of another session. These are some pictures. We have Kathy and with Maria Schreiber in the background, Brandon.
Yeah, Maria came.
Maria Schreiber did our welcome virtually. Marianne Dewan was our keynote speaker. Joshua Sparrow, Jim Bell. And then I think there were some more speaker highlight pictures. Our evaluations was a lot streamlined. We used to do paper evals, and now we just do all online.
We have
same amount of
stacks to go
responses.
through. No more.
And then we'll do a final report towards the end of the year. This is one of our speakers that we've had many times, Stephanie Faso. So it was really well responded, and I was able to take the YouTube screenshot with the closed captioning. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, how do we continue to have her? We talked about her personal experience and what she believes. And I think by having not only Brandon herself and more people advocate their story is more of what we need to try to do in our conference, rather than just administrators telling people this is how you mainstream. So I want to be able to take the stories that actually happen, the partnerships that do happen. So with that, with the conference for next year, it was Inclusioners Unite, but since our county office is doing Investing for Impact, we went with Inclusioners Impact. And we broke it down into inclusive, multi-tiered, person-first, for all, collaborative partnerships, and trauma-informed. So those will be our tracks. We will be doing prenatal to 24 again, just for 2 days. 2. We're not sure how many virtual streams will happen, but it'll be Monday, Thursday. The difficult thing too is how to structure it, not only on if they're an administrator or a teacher, but sometimes it was not the tracks. They're like, oh, I want this track, but more so it's the ages. They all wanted just their ages, like, oh, this is my group, this is my group. So I think we kind of have to go back to how do we have sessions based on ages for people to feel better served at the conference rather than having them how we do. So a better way of identifying it in the UBL way. We'll work our way up there.
We're thinking visuals.
Less text, more images. We're almost there with Board Maker and Icon.
I think so. Yes, thank you. Clap for Kim.
Woo!
It's amazing. She has this vision that you can't even imagine. And just the fact that our little inclusioneer has gone viral, and it's like a whole nother story. So we would like you to take your little inclusioneer home and appropriately send us pictures of what he's doing.
And we'll have the final report at the
I have one on my kitchen table. I wave at him. So it's just kind of fun. I mean, it really is fun.
I'm
gonna go upstairs and get one.
I have all of them. I have 2 pictures of the other pictures. Task force tables so that the people there who are stressed can
Use there. So at any rate, I want to also acknowledge Howard Joy, who was able to connect us to Brandon Gruber. He is a phenomenal kiddo, and his story, I think, was super impactful. The tech wasn't that great, but that's okay. We're going to work through it. So be sure to look at that YouTube when it should be available like the beginning of the year.
It's all on our YouTube playlist.
Yeah.
We just don't have it public access until the end of the year.
Yeah.
We try to have it extended.
We want people to feel special.
It's
when
on
they
our
pay for it. Okay. Anyways, that's the conference. We're exhausted, but it was really fun, and we've actually been brave enough.
And then we won the Golden Bell Award as well.
So here's the Golden Bell Award. We actually applied for equity and access, and that was like back in June. I mean, it seems so long ago, and then all of a sudden we got a little email
Celebrate our
saying,
5th year.
I know, it was amazing. So we had someone come and do a background investigation of us. George Sanchez, he's with Franklin McKinley School District, and then he came to our conference, so that was good marketing. And then November 29th was the ceremony. So if you go to CSBA and do Golden Bell, we're like one of 25, I think. And there's like 280 applications.
240 submissions for 20 categories, and we were one of 26 winners.
Awesome. So on the day of the ceremony, we had tickets to go up, but the Marriott was picketing still, their workers. So our board decided not to go, and then we were told not to go. So I actually enjoyed my couch that night, saying, "Yay, it's a Golden Bell party!" But we're going to celebrate again. And I'd like my Golden Bell, but you know, you'd like to see it.
And it's the second Golden Bell.
Yeah, it is the second one.
Yeah,
I remember the What was it?
It's 2013. Yeah.
2013. Yeah, so
So 5 years apart too.
5 years. Wow, second in 5 years.
That means 2023. Okay. So here's our team. We actually had a fun little super picture together, so don't look too closely. But anyways, so thank my team because they made it all happen. And here's our flyer for next year. Wow. And we wanted you to know that we did hear your voices in the community. They wanted to have community meetings again, despite no one coming in the rain and traveling. So we did our first Zoom meeting, November 8th. Mel was on. Thank you, Mel. We had a great discussion. We have a template of an agenda, and we had probably 15, 20 people on. It was great. And it was all the LPC folks who said, we need an inclusion meeting. So I'm pretty excited about that. We'll get that out there and promote it to more folks. But just so you know, the next one is in January. And then we're going to share a little bit about updates of our California One Highway to Success program. The data dashboard was released yesterday. You guys probably know that. They've changed their graphics, so that's a little update. We have to work on arrows and gas gauges. And so we're working on this. In case you don't know what this project it is to increase equity and access and professional development and work with our agencies. And then our focus groups are the students with disabilities, English learners, and African American students. We had our first Equity Institute this week with San Jose State on December 5th, because that's what everything was happening. And it was very well attended, more so than we ever expected. This is on our website, but you can go ahead and look at, these are our partners, and those are our LEA grantees. And there's different tiers, and we are going to be updating our website so it has more clicks on this type of image here to make it more understandable. We have tier 2 activities, so you can see our co-teaching for equity was December 5th. We had it free for California One grantees, so Alum Rock was in the house, and then we had people pay for it. So that was great because with our holiday meal here, we had to buy food, and so that helped defray our costs because our grant doesn't pay for it. So our next regional TLC will be in San Benito County in January, so I need to update that obviously. And then we actually have a date in Santa Cruz in March. So it's kind of cool. And then we have online PLCs that members have to click onto. And this is our website. Boom. If anyone's interested in learning more about this, you can go there, click on there, and then it'll go into just about everything. And it's going to be refreshed. So I think I'll leave it at that because we still need to have our work groups. Embedded instruction continues. We're in our 4th year Bridge Sustainability Year, and it's a CDE grant, and we have and lots of teachers and coaches that are going through it this year. We have 2 coaches this current year, and we have 5 new teachers. 3 of the teachers are 3 of the new teachers are at Mountain View Wisman Preschool who just won a golden medal also. Isn't that exciting? So the University of Florida folks want to tie it into a California embedded instruction pilot and make a PR out of that. I think that's cute. Then we have 10 sustainability teachers out in our county, and we are working with Sunnyvale, Franklin McKinley. I can't remember now because I'm tired, but there's quite a great group of folks that we're working with. 12 total classrooms. And the teaching pyramid starts tomorrow. We're offering in Spanish. We'll be wearing FF sets. Oh, I know. And we have some translating that has taken place, and we have a person who will be helping do all the interpretation who's actually teaching pyramid trained. We also, and with the best thing here is bullet number 4, more trainers being authorized. So tomorrow we also have 4 trainees practicing to become authorized. So they're probably right now learning their script because right now there's not a lot of us authorized still. And then the current cohort at San Jose State University, they're a teaching program, and we've been doing the teaching pyramid with them, and they're going to finish theirs in December. They're doing it with their whole staff, which is awesome. And then we're going to do the ICP again because we can. First 5 supported us. Thank you, Delina. And
You're welcome.
We'll start our pilot project in 2019. I just heard that someone's having a baby though, so that reduces our reliable raters, but we will adapt to that. Last year, 17 out of 18, here's all our partners. And last year, 17 out of 18 sites became inclusion endorsed. Okay, so, go on. Yes, my dear?
Oh no, I was saying woohoo.
Okay, good. Thought if you want to say something, let me know. So thank you, Delina.
I
actually got a room in January to have our first overview, so we need to start recruiting our new sites. So I'll be coordinating that with you.
Yes. Sorry, can I just real quick interrupt? Just to let you and the group know, and I forgot to do this at the beginning of the meeting. I actually have the flu, and so does my 7-month-old. So I have to get off in like 5 minutes to take her to a doctor's appointment.
In fact, you can watch this later. Go.
Okay, thank you.
Feel better.
All right, thank you.
These students actually keeping us healthier, right? Where she came. And Nina too. She's sick.
So Kathy, is this on the internet? Like, is it on?
It's on the first 5, but it's not well described, so we have to go back and work on it. And it's not on ours yet because I haven't had time to get it on there.
What's it described as?
That they have received a rating of at least 5 on the Inclusive Classroom Profile. It's a rating tool that rates the quality of preschool inclusion.
So we look up inclusion.
It's hard to know what it's going to say. I haven't looked.
Oh, yeah.
It's not there yet. Yes.
So one of the tools that we currently have it hangs off the County Office of Education website. It's a mapping tool that has the location of all the QRIS sites in the county for the licensed preschools and blah, 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 blah. One thing that we might be able to do is we might be able to flag those sites that have been
Inclusion endorsed.
So if you send me a list of the schools, I can pass it on to our research analyst and we may be able to add that as a flag.
Okay.
And that.
Is that David?
Yeah. And that's currently like.
I see him all the time.
Open to the public, so
okay, that'd be great. Is it on the COE website?
It's on the COE website.
Okay. Yeah, because we're going to start another pilot and do another 18.
So these are they met through the profile.
They went through a pilot study last year in January. They were pre-rated. Then they had trainings March, April, and May, and then they got an ending rating. They had to get at least 5, and then they became inclusion endorsed.
And how many out of how many? There's how many?
17 out of 18 last year.
So do they have to have a gen ed teacher?
No,
teacher to be part of
but
it?
they do need to be an inclusive classroom. So they have to have at least 1 kid with an IEP.
Right, but like for me, we don't have a Head Start, right?
Right, you have a preschool with gen ed kids.
Preschool with gen ed kids. that
Then we should do it with you.
Okay.
Are you QRS rated?
I don't know.
Okay, then you ask our questions. So yeah, we're being funded by First 5, so we have to go with some measure. So we're doing quality rated either 4s or 5s. So So we have quite a few Head Start. Santa Clara County, we've got Campbell Union School District wants more of their site. So it's really exciting to see how it generated the excitement of getting more information about this.
But this is just preschools.
Yes.
And these are not, because people call me and say, where can I send my child? And these are great sites, but they can't send their child there if they're paying. Except for California.
You're right. Although my subsidized spots are filled right now, but.
Well, no, I'm
we have
talking
a
about,
wait list. Yeah.
I'm gonna pay.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
the Campbell ones are.
We don't have the, we're not going to have the, we want.
Yes.
But there are some in here that are fee for service.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is put this on with the link that goes to their site.
And can I have to put that information, because people ask me all the time.
Yeah.
And I have a
We will
list.
talk. Yeah.
but
Actually,
I
I
wanna have a
need,
better list.
if you can put it, I need the information, exactly what you just said, like in a spreadsheet with.
I can do it in my sleep. I'm sure I have 40 million PowerPoints for you.
Thank you. Because,
I actually went back and got trained as a reliable rater
right,
to do reliable rating,
Right.
training.
right.
There was 3 of us in the whole United States. It was the week before the conference. It was not pretty. It took more brains than I have. But now there's a mentoring process. So somewhere I have to go to a training for a week and mentor and be partially trained with another authorized person, and then they have to authorize me.
So you can be
So the process, ideally. Anyways, all right, let's move on. We have stuff to do. As our professional development continues, you can ask Julie. She's doing contracts. Last year, if you look at our annual report that came out, we had 4,000 individuals participated in our trainings, and we had 125 school districts recorded. We did not have agencies, libraries, etc. So that's just that data point. We have new contracts this year with SEIU, which has been an interesting early childhood educators that are unionized, or they want them to be unionized. So we've been going to Oakland, and we have a 3-part series on inclusion, overview, disability awareness, and then a positive behavior support, since that's so popular, and autism spectrum disorder and what to do. And so we've been in those cities.
How much are you charging?
Well, that's, how much are we charging? We have a contract with them.
So, I mean, in general, how much do you charge?
It's
for a
on
day of
our
training?
website, but usually we're $3,000 a day. Or we make deals. But good question. So we are also working with our San Jose Public Libraries. We have a whole new inclusion project we're doing with them. And then, believe it or not, if you look up Universal Design for Learning in Libraries, there's a lot of information on it. And then we're also working the Santa Clara County Public Library, County Library System with Jennifer Weeks. And then Susan's been working with Palo Alto Junior Museum and Zoo. And then we've actually had a couple private preschools having worked with them. And in February, we're going to the Department of Catholic Schools in San Francisco for the Archbishop, something or other, 150 preschool teachers on preschool inclusion. Wow, I know. That'll be exciting. These are the school districts that we've worked with so far since July. And so you can see, so these are just districts for the fee for service. They're not part of our California one. And then we've done some out of the Bay Area. Sung and I have been supporting Los Angeles High School and Sonoma Selpa. We did a day there of preschool inclusion. So I wanted to show you this really cool clip. We've been working with Los Angeles High School for, this is our 2nd year, and they've developed a co-teaching cohort where they have the new incoming ninth graders be in co-teaching teams. So they started this last year. They've been working with Chime, and they have us come down. And this is a student project. Oh, it's probably not going to work.
Hi, my name is for a full inclusion program here. LA High, we're almost done.
Sorry.
This year than my whole entire life. I'm also defining full inclusion as an education where all students with disabilities receive their education in a general
Setting. At LA High, we have our own interpretations of full
This is a
inclusion.
student done video.
Full inclusion in these segregation.
Full inclusion is an opportunity to show I'm normal, not special.
Full inclusion means include me too.
Full inclusion means I have to study. Full inclusion means I get to meet new friends. Full inclusion means I am. Full inclusion has shown me I can do anything.
Full
Full inclusion is happiness.
Full inclusion is a second chance.
Okay, so what full inclusion does is designed to help students that are special ed acclimate to a regular ed classroom. Now, it's actually good for regular ed students as well because there's a lot of accommodations that we provide for special ed students that can also help full inclusion regular ed students as well. So in reality, it actually creates a stronger classroom because students that otherwise would not receive the same amount of help they would in a regular class are getting twice the help in a special ed inclusion class.
In the full inclusion class, there are 2 teachers, one gen ed and one special ed teacher. In our classes, they work together in instructing all the students. Our teachers use different models depending on the lesson, which include lead teaching assist, parallel teaching, station, alternative grouping, team teaching, and others. At LA High, 2 teachers meet.
Twice the fun.
Twice the learning.
Twice the challenge.
Twice the experience. Twice the care. Unfortunately, twice the work.
Twice the education, twice the comedy. Being a teacher I have never had. No.
What full inclusion means to me is a chance to meet a new lifelong friend.
Although full inclusion originates in the classroom, it spreads throughout our lives. Whether it's singing together, having lunch together, laughing together, hanging out together, encouraging each other because learning is tough for everyone, or helping each other out in times of need. Here at LA High, we have just begun full inclusion, and we are looking forward to leading you of all NUC schools towards desegregation of all SPED students. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole story. At LA High, we have taken the first step of faith, and my life has been changed forever. I believe in you.
So there's a lot of really fun stuff that they're doing together. What they found is that now the kids are doing stuff outside of classroom. So there's prom pictures, there's the Halloween event, and this just started 10 weeks ago. Isn't that amazing? By the way, the gentleman who's the host, and they channeled him to kind of, remember they were talking about him? To take the lead, and it's really changed kind of his attitude in class. It's been very interesting hearing from them. So isn't that powerful? It can be done. So again, I think it's important that we share and tell our stories. And I think when people see it in the visual, it's super powerful. Questions? We don't have permission for it.
No.
Okay.
We should tell and share.
Great. Thank you. That's why we're doing inclusion in action on our websites. Well, I think this is pretty powerful, but again, it was done by students, so there's some probably editing we could do. One of the teachers was really annoyed they cut his head off, but so, at any rate, this is something new that we launched at the conference, the Calming Kit, and I will bring it down when you guys are in your work groups. Dave Scahill with the Discovery Source partnered with us, and these are clear backpacks with calming strategies in them. I'm buying them. And just, yes, you are. Awesome. Apparently Healthy Kids Foundation bought 100 for their parents. So it's going, and now he wants to do videos for him. So I don't know how that'll work, but we're going to get a little percentage. Yes. So I'll bring down the kit to show you. This is I wanted to just share a little bit about our inclusive makerspace. Yeah. I have a question on age appropriateness for the calming kit. Is it preschool for preschool or is it grade? I personally gave calming kits to my whole family last year. Just telling you.
That's a great idea.
However, infants might choke on things. I mean, there's some things, under 4 you want to monitor. And if you've got the mouthy ones, you got to really keep an eye on that Play-Doh. Okay. So the media center closed. We know that we had a small site established for the Inclusion Collaborative. We had some equipment that we inherited. We had a soft opening in our inclusion conference for the Inclusion Collaborative Makerspace, and we're partnering with Parent Engagement. Jamie has some parent kits that have Common Core standards in them that parents can check out. So today they're being moved to our Inclusive Makerspace. They're hiring a new person in curriculum instruction area that needs her desk, so she's going to start living with us. Isn't that great? General funding was approved. It's making its way very slowly onto a cabinet agenda. So, because we feel that this is something that the County Office of Ed, not very much money, should support their teachers. So I'm hoping that it gets to the next cabinet meeting and gets discussed. I'll be working on that. We would like to open it officially January. At that point, Kathy D. Benedetto, who used to run the Library Media Center, is available because her first time will be over, so it's going to be a good match. And then First Five of California, they're not here anymore, but they want us to do a proposal with them because the P-Track closed and they want family childcare providers to have access to a site. So stay tuned for this.
How soon can I check out those kits? 'Cause I'm doing like-
You'll have to wait until
I've been
January.
I've been creating my own.
Yeah, okay.
And I have, I bought some.
Jamie
before.
needs to figure out the system, and
Okay.
so once she gets in there, she'll have the computer that's there. We did find out incidentally that people have been using it anyways, so we're gonna have to put some big signs up today that says back away from our stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
They also shred there. That's where special ed students, their job, if they want to be a shredder someday. So they go there to learn how to do it.
So where is this? Is it?
It's over there. I'll show you. It's next to the print shop.
Oh, okay.
Downstairs.
Over there.
Behind the pond, as we like to say. Ooh, that could be like a golden pond. Behind the golden pond. Okay. So I wanted to also let you know we've been working with CAST. As you know, they partnered with us for our California One. They were out here this week. Sung and I hosted. We went to three different school sites. They're interested in doing more UDL implementation on the West. So we are working on next steps in that potential project. Do you want to share what Corgi is?
Corgi is co-organizing your learning, and this will be a project in which I will be a Google app for science lessons on how to use UDL in terms of science to enhance learning using the strategic instruction model, and how can you organize practices, concepts, and so forth to hopefully teach science better.
So we will be recruiting some middle school science. I know, we already have you on our radar screen. I even think you've got a couple science teachers. What was that group? What middle school came to the Inclusion 101? Yeah, Shepherd. So I think it would be really cool. We've reminded them when we have NGSS, it needs to be aligned. So they're working on that aspect. It's through the
through KU.
Kansas University. So it's exciting. We're not sure how it'll roll. We also have potentially going to work with another big school district for co-teaching, and CAST has an author who's put together a package of co-teaching in UDL. That's what we do, but it's all put together, and they have some like a workbook that she's working on, and so it'd be interesting to pilot test it. So don't worry, Jennifer, I know you're there. Okay. Then we want to make sure you know we still have our inclusion support warm line. Calls continue. I just did 3 slides, Susan. You can see we've had 475 so far, and last year we had 500 and something. So our data collection was a little off last year because we had a whole new system, but they keep calling. I'm just telling you. Spanish was a pretty high, other than English language that was needed. And I think that was it. Number calls. Yep. I had one more, but it disappeared. So that must mean it's time to decide what work group you want to be in. I know. Go get some coffee. I can tell. Coffee. And decide if you would like to go to data input, sustainability, and community outreach. Okay, Steve. And I know you were overseeing the data. And Susan, were you community outreach? I don't remember where you are. There you are. And sustainability, maybe it'll be tonight. Okay. You make it up. Everyone can tell Steve what we've been doing now. And I'm going to go get some inclusioneers and the calming kit so you can see what it looks like. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go ahead. It's 11:40. We have 20 more minutes. We're going to have the data group report out. We'll have our sustainability group report out. And we are, you guys, just go back to your chairs.
It looks so funny. All our backs to the whole group.
Yeah. Yes. And then we'll have you guys turn around and look at us. No. But you all should have an inclusioneer at your desk now. Isn't that exciting? I know. Yeah, you can name them.
Remember,
No, you
hashtag
mine. You've already
inclusion
done
years.
mine. You should write your name on it because
Hashtag
there's only a few left. Actually, our speaker from San Jose State, she said, "Oh, ours is in the bathtub at home because her kids have got it." So
I'm a little disappointed it didn't come in the original box, but.
it didn't have it. We got a Ziploc bag. All right, so we are going to, Julie's going to try to capture notes from you verbally, and then we also have what you've written up together. So, Sung, do you mind doing like an overview of last time what people thought, and then what you think would be the next step that you and your
So last time we were
big group talked
saying
about?
that for looking at data, we need to look at outcomes and tie to student lives, and you'll see the faces behind it, and look at the behaviors, the practices that the districts are doing, and align that with data that the LEAs have to report anyway, so that it's not one extra thing that they have, one more burden. And we thought that really focusing on LRE rates, because that's something that they have to report every year anyways, and so seeing what changes there. We need to collaborate a lot with the special project task force on the special education services continuum, and we certainly are doing that. Also, looking at foster youth data and collaborating with foster youth here in our building, and recognize LEAs, common improvement, headed to an inclusion quality statement or UDL certification. So there, and now today we kept building on that, and the LA High example was a great way of looking at student lives and having student cases present that. So we want to think about local reporting. So that's great for down there, but we want something from here. We want stuff like from our communities, our students saying that. So we want it to be storytelling with data, and then
with data.
We need to think about incentives for the LEAs to promote and advertise this, because many LEAs do not want to advertise, we're great for special education, you need to move here. So,
Yeah, that is true. Having been a director.
So we need to think about the implicit disincentives for reporting of outcomes and storytelling. And again, we come back to LRE because that's something that they have to report on anyways. Right. And we need to really understand it and look at different changes, different trends there, and also understand that because we're sometimes dealing with small groups, that there's volatility in that data also. So there, we also expanded upon our foster youth focus. Another advantage of thinking about foster youth is that it will bring in an older group of students in the foster youth system. Also, it brings in people from the judiciary, from the legislative. It's also one of the highlighted 10 priority indicators on the LCFF state seal. Foster youth has its own branch, so it brings in more and brings expands the scope of what we're trying to do here. Also, thinking about creating this quality statement or UDL wall, out there, create a wall, have it so that the board.
Richard's gonna run.
The candy wall.
You've been in my car.
So, sorry, this is not a very smart idea I had last time. So if you go out and stand by our cafeteria, you will see the seal of biliteracy, right? Where we recognize all of the school districts and all of the charter schools that have qualified for a seal of biliteracy. So I think that we should have
inclusion endorsement.
an inclusion endorsement wall or a UDL certified wall. And I want the space right by the door to the San Jose room, because that way our board members walk past it twice a month, and everybody who comes to the county office for trainings, big trainings, gets to see it. And yes, Richard will
And I'll offer the,
With a golden bell.
I'll offer the PHP wall for 1 month a year to list everyone
Could
who's
be a
certified by
tree. Every
Oh.
leaves
Has
keep
to
getting
buy a
added
brick.
to it.
Buy a brick.
A leaf.
I like that.
Don't make me come up with
You
numbers
could-
right now,
you
Kathy.
could
Buy a
use
brick, buy a
the,
wall.
The tree, ask to use the tree on the special ed task force report, that tree they have, and then buy the one system for all, and then you can use the little leaves.
One system
for
for
all.
What is this, a leaf? Is it, I guess, the hand leaf?
A leaf.
The hand
Well,
leaf?
no,
Oh,
it's- yeah,
we
we don't want to be talking walls.
Yeah,
I like
that's true.
these.
If you have if you publicly celebrate those who are inclusion
Right.
certified, right, and and it's all, and I'd like to point out on the data piece that, what's the name? Innovate Public Schools.
Oh, yeah.
Is getting ahead of Santa Clara County Office of Ed in terms of getting out data about failure rate, particularly for our low-income Hispanic kids in facilities. And that's real. And you may like them or not like them, but when you look at the data, it makes you feel something, and it's not good. And so if Santa Clara County Office of Ed had a reciprocal message around positivity around the districts that are, yes,
That's one of our values.
then it begins to counter some of that.
Well, I think too, also that the county office did do a partnership, I think, with the Hispanic Foundation for the Latino report that just came out. So they have been doing some work with them.
And we've
that's
done the
not
Black Leadership
right,
Cabinet
right,
report.
exactly. And that's not just the educational piece, but also the health piece and a lot of other factors too. So they have been doing some work with them. I just don't think it's gotten the
People want to eat lunch in here. Just so you know.
oh, okay.
No,
So,
they don't have it reserved.
oh, okay.
It's just the time.
Okay,
You know, this
so,
is all
so, I mean, you're right, you know, Innovate does do a lot of stuff, and they put a lot of stuff out there. I'm on their mailing list. And they do put a lot of stuff out.
But it would be great if
Yeah.
the strength-based
Right,
message from SCCU was getting out to.
Right.
I love it.
I agree.
So we're gonna just ask for the wall. I like it.
Not at all.
Not a wall.
Oh, no, sorry. Well, the space.
The space.
The space. Design a space.
Tree.
How can you say
Putting a positive spin on the
And
child's
the walls
wall.
are like a gold.
And then you had LRE saving dollars.
Yeah, so one of the things to fight against the implicit incentives, maybe if we can look at that to see what does this mean in terms of dollar savings
Right.
for
We've always needed a cost study.
so go.
All right, we have 11 minutes. So I'd like this group to have a chance, and I'd like this group to have a chance. So who would like to share out from sustainability?
I can, and I can do it in a minute.
Oh,
Alright. How do we get our mindset to change? Because we're finding over the last 10 years, 5 years, even 1 year has kind of been different. So how do we get a business financial plan? But we need to know what do we need. So in order to know what we need, I do an assessment. There's opportunities with credentialing partnerships with administrators, whether it's our in-house credentialing program, out-of-house, untapped resources like charter schools with fee for service, and then integrating our evals into our contracts to get that information, and showing our model programs of Santa Clara County, and getting the meetings for assistant superintendents, and how do we show that systems of support, that we are a leaf that helps with the systems of support, and maybe that is the tree.
Ooh, I like it.
And how do we stop having the same conversations and move forward, knowing what is our focus for sustainability, and this is what we're doing to do that. And we think it's a business model.
We need a business model.
I'd suggest for data and sustainability that the schools that are certified in inclusion, you compare those the litigation rates in those schools to the ones who aren't certified. You will have internal champions within Santa Clara County. That's it, right? You either pay for inclusion or you pay attorney fees.
Right.
Somehow we have money for attorney fees, right?
It would be
So
awesome
it'd be
if
great
I'd
to
love
see
to
it.
get that
CEOs be the
data.
ones who are arguing for inclusion. That would be amazing. Well, because, so I went through the CBO certification process. The CBO is usually the second most powerful person in the school district. And the CBO is the person who lasts, right? Superintendents come and go, the CBO lasts forever.
All right,
If you're
we have to bring some inclusioners out to the superintendents.
If you had a cost study, you could take it to the CEOs. You could say, hey, pay for inclusion or pay for lawsuits. And here's the savings.
Here's the data.
The other piece though is in the preschool inclusion programs, what happens to us is these kids go on into general ed programs.
Right.
So that cost is so much different than having specialized programs for every kindergarten or first grader.
And Mel was talking about the new president of San Jose State, who apparently is very interested in special education. So maybe
Is
they
this the
could
dean or
do
the president?
The president.
so maybe they could do the data
The dean is
collection
awesome.
for you, and then you wouldn't have to figure out how to fund it.
They have a,
Higher ed.
yeah.
We need more people.
Do you know the president, Mel?
She's coming into our Rotary Club, but Julie is a very close friend of
Gotta join the Rotary.
Apparently, become a Rotarian.
Yeah, you need to.
Apparently. So hook me up, we'll talk about that. But that's a great idea, and I was just recently at an early childhood, where did you get around? Early childhood education initiative that's happening in San Jose State,
Oh, yeah.
with their new dean.
I wasn't there, but I
Someone
heard
was
about
there.
it. and
You heard about it.
Strong stuff.
So they are putting together an initiative to really support communities and what's going on within San Jose State's area. And they are partnering with many people. And the new dean was there, so I got to meet her. She's already spoken with Mary Ann Dewan. That's an impossibility of something,
Yeah.
cost study. Okay, thank you, everybody. I know. So does this last group want to report out?
Quite similar with data, we want to have, to celebrate local successes.
Okay.
And we're very interested in Blackbird, which has had about 15 years of inclusion. It would be, I think having student films, they're free, they're just on the iPad, so I would love to put those on Facebook or any place. They don't have to be perfect. But Mel also suggested working with Garvin Thomas. And
who's Garvin Thomas?
He does NBC's feel-good programs, you know? It's about,
I don't watch TV much anymore.
it's about a 3-minute short.
Okay.
On all kinds of topics.
Okay.
He's in a
Is he local?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Garvin Thomas.
Does he go to Rotary meetings? That would be a twofer.
He has done with the Rotary Club, but for other reasons.
Okay.
So Blackford would be a good school to.
Yes.
To do a
I
celebration
agree.
for a long time. They've been successful.
And we could find students and interview.
Yes,
them.
so that was the other thing.
Stephanie.
I know, it's just her birthday.
How do we have?
She wasn't, it's
She's
Blackbird
at
grad.
And she's also a graduate student at San Jose State in inclusion, so maybe she can write the paper on.
Stephanie?
So the student videos, is it about the inclusion success or what is it?
Well, it'd be great to have
Their
inclusion
perspectives.
success.
Because we have a lead that we need to follow up on with Metro Ed, with their assistant superintendent, to try to get support for the conference when it comes to the virtual component with their students. So maybe there's an opportunity to do student videos with them who are already producing student videos. How do we get that pipeline?
I love it. I love it.
Just like with the New York. was it New
Right,
York?
it was the New York, Humans of New York. So we want something like Voices of Inclusion. Individuals, celebrating individuals, could be aides. I just saw an amazing aide yesterday. I'd love to celebrate her. Teachers,
Great,
cafeteria
building on that
workers,
strength.
bus,
Quick clips
bus drivers,
rather
just
than-
quick clips.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a quick clip. It could be just a short sentence or two.
Probably mentioned at Blackford with the inclusion of those kids into regular classrooms. Now you've got adults being
Right.
successful. So being able to say, I'm an adult and I went through that program because of inclusion, I'm successful and I'm
Well, we could
contributing.
interview a middle schooler and then a high schooler. And then stuff.
And
And
even,
then how do we utilize those recordings you already have?
even
Definitely
early
great.
childhood, I remember when Janice gave us data that this is how many kids had IEPs in preschool, but before they got to kindergarten, the IEP was gone because we were able to do so much great early intervention. How many of those kids are not entering the K-12 system with an IEP? How much money is that saving us? And of course, for the child and the family, they're now on par with the other kids coming in instead of behind. So yeah, it's.
I know our embedded instruction pilot project, part of it is to try to get the SSID number and to track these kids. And they're just doing it this month.
Yep.
Which I have yet to get any information on, so. But that is something to get information on.
Yep.
And I know Franklin McKinley has data, it's just a matter of accessing it.
Right.
Yeah, but that would be part of our cost study by graduate students. Good.
So the other thing that we talked about was corporate partners, and Ellen suggested we need to get in contact with Google, which is, putting.
Which is where Marcy Turner's husband works, by the way.
Right, so there we go.
Yeah.
Contact.
They
Well,
meet-
Google now, because they're the ones who are moving into San
Right.
Jose, and there's a big uproar, even, I'm trying to
Very
have
controversial.
positive, right, we want to get some back, right?
Right. Remember the War Memorial was splattered with paint? Because I'm a veteran, and our small group got together in our Rotary Club, and we were gonna go over and fix it. And we went over, and Google was had already done it. And they did a beautiful job. I said, wait,
wow,
that's really reacting.
A lot of people don't realize how much their corporation will take a busload of their staff that are volunteering for something and will transport them for free to what they're volunteering. Google has a lot of disabled.
So they,
I was over there.
to our space for design our space.
I was at Google in the ladies' room. Back in the stall was a poster about inclusion in the workplace. It was about like, and I was like, wow, they're really far advanced. But then I talked to someone whose spouse worked there, and she says like half the Google employees are on the spectrum or ADHD. Like there's like, so they get it. Like they get inclusion.
Okay, Doug Turner, write that down.
They may be looking for an opportunity to catch up with Microsoft.
Yeah.
Microsoft's been making big
Yeah.
emphasis about inclusion.
Well, they were featured on that Fremont School for the Deaf. All right, so this was awesome. I'm hoping someone took notes for us and my brain. Clap for yourselves. That's right. It's awesome.
Quick question.
Quick
I
question.
just wondered, since someone's here from the Rotary, how that park is doing in Morgan Hill.
The Morgan Hill Park. You'd have to ask my wife about that, because she's.
But they were getting funding
Similar
through
to
the
the one
county
that's over
too.
off of Coleman.
They received funding from the county Board of Suit.
Yeah, there was like 11 grants maybe.
Yeah.
Well, one.
I know there've been a lot of fundraisers. I just was curious. I don't know where it is.
Has anyone been to Morgan Hills Park?
I live in Morgan Hill. I know where it's
We'll
supposed
give
to
her an
be.
assignment.
I know, where it's
Just curious.
that community park, duck-proof park, we call it, because it's ducks here. So it's kind of like.
That's very inclusive.
Yeah, even the ducks are welcome.
They are.
Yeah.
But I know they did receive funding, and it was like a 2 to 3 year project.
Yeah,
And they're doing all the other stuff.
signs all over town about how you can get all that.
I love walking by. I don't know what I call it.
Magical bridges.
It's packed all the time. If you go around,
So our next, I have misplaced the, oh, there it is. It should be clicking. What's going on? I believe we're just about done, right? Maybe it's because the chat's up. Doesn't like that? Yes. No? So we're about to do meeting evaluation, and it doesn't want to move forward because it's tired apparently. So what went well? What would you like to do differently? And what's next? What went well today? Well, we had all of these people show up. So
The pace was good.
The pace good?
This little guy made
Was he the hit?
smile.
He was the hit? Okay, good.
I feel like we got a lot done.
It does feel like we got a lot done. Share.
update on the conference was nice.
Thank you.
The video from LA Unified.
I know, isn't that sweet?
And continuing the discussion on these 3 areas.
Thank you.
Just
There it
wanted
is.
to call out for my product of LA Unified.
Your what?
Product of LA Unified.
There you go.
Inclusion success story right here.
I know.
Right.
This, by the way, is what the backpack looks like. My only one. I'll take it with you. What could be improved? Obviously, we like food, but Got in trouble for having hummus the other night, so.
Oh.
Huh? We did have coffee, so thank you. All right, thank you all. Yes?
I would just love to have a work group on parent advocacy and education, because we kind of got buried in there today, and that's.
We teach 36 a year.
No, I know
Just
you
in
do,
San
but
Jose.
I'd like to see it as a work group.
Well, this
there's
is
so
the
much-
second meeting of having work groups. So let's just stick with these three this year.
Okay.
And then hopefully next year we can identify what
It'd be
ones we
nice
want
to
to
be
do.
able to eliminate one because our work is done.
Maybe we won't need to worry about sustainability.
I love your
And then we
reframing,
can add-
Suzie.
Well, it's just that parents get very, frustrated, and they need more information, and I have a partner for you right now.
That's right.
And it just gets buried, and I don't know how to communicate or who to communicate with.
Or sometimes there's things happening that aren't out there. Because I just
Exactly.
came from a parent training in our district. And we had interpreters and it was amazing. And we meet once a month with parents. Just
Yeah, I
parents
mean-
of children with special needs.
Yeah, why have lawsuits when we can make it better, if we can figure out a better way to do it?
Mechanisms for that.
That's my house.
I'm just looking for in the future, a little more information around what was said around promoting the services that the LEAs do, and then saying, oh, wait, we don't want to do that because, you know, it means more kids with less resources. But how can we look at that differently?
I think calling them inclusion champions.
Yeah.
And tell a story, not with data and dollars, but inclusion champions.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's kind of like, be careful what you ask for,
Yeah.
you know, and then
We
kids
know.
come with disabilities, and then your staff are like, oh no, now I have to figure out how I'm gonna manage this child along with these other 20 typically developing kids. Like, you have the skills, you better
But again, you
do this.
have to have the infrastructure within your
supports.
district to support that.
That's right.
1203,
Good job.
May 3rd is our next annual retreat at Sobrato Center, 9 to 1. We're delighted to see you. If you'd like to attend the California One, we will be having more of those meetings, and that's also on our website. And I know you guys get notifications of that. I believe January 17th is the next one, and it's looking specifically at that grant that we have. So not the inclusion. This is for the inclusion side of the year. No, it's 3. We already had one in September.
No, I know, I
It's 3.
was, yeah.
All right, thank you everybody for coming. Hooray!
Got this.